Life can change in an instant. For many wheelchair users, the struggle to push forward is a daily challenge.
After years of development and countless prototypes, we created Rib Grips, the revolutionary wheelchair hand rim covers with built-in ribs for ultimate grip and comfort.
No more slick surfaces, no more heat burns, just pure, reliable grip. Rib Grips, empowering you to push forward with ease. Rib Grips, get a grip on your freedom. Discover the difference. Visit ribgrips.com and use promo code GRIP today. You just found the perfect product that helps with staying cool during hot summer runs. No more gross warm water. Stay cool with this product from Gear Handle. This hydration tube cover helps keep your water cool and easily accessible. Stay hydrated during those long summer runs or even delay from freezing in the winter. Plus, they're compatible with various brands of water bladders and come in various colors. Visit gearhandle.com and use promo code H2O today.
Constant Contact's marketing tools and technology make it easier than ever to drive big results for your small business. From list growth and email to SMS and social media, it's all powered by advanced automation and AI capabilities that help you grow your business more effectively. Plus, we've got the reporting you need to see what's working and what's not, so you can adjust along the way. Constant Contact is the digital marketing solution you need to keep up, excel, and grow. Try it for free today at ConstantContact.com.
BooBaes. BooBaes. Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Welcome
Welcome.
to BooBaes.
BooBaes.
BooBaes, your horror, spectacular, spook show, fun.
Yeah, we're here to talk about some horror movies.
That's right. And today we actually, oh wait, my name's Caitlin.
My name is Joshua.
LOL. And we have a guest.
We have a guest today.
We have a guest.
Yay.
I'm on.
A third voice.
I'm here.
This is Corey.
Hi.
Well, he owns like half a Waco for starters.
Only half.
Only half. The Gaines
not
is
more
on
than
the
that.
other half.
That's true. We have talks once a month. It's, oh, do you do that? I do that.
Disputes.
Yeah. They're very nice. They're kind people.
Wait, do y'all really have talks once a month?
No.
Oh,
don't.
I was like,
We
I would
don't.
believe you.
That is, I could see that.
I was trying to get them to watch Escape Room, but they didn't. Oh, did I bury? Do we know what we're reviewing?
Oh, we will. Well, so
Oh,
Corey
did I spoil it?
owns the
Okay.
Waco escape rooms here.
Yes.
In
Nice
Waco.
segue. Nice
Yes.
So
tie-in.
we
That
thought
was
we
good.
would cover 2019's
Escape Room.
escape room.
Yes.
Yeah. We thought it'd be kind of fun to have a, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, firsthand kind of perspective. Not that
There
you
you go.
got murdered in any of these.
Not yet, but
But-
yeah, we'll have a little bit of perspective. I enjoyed like watching it and be like, oh yeah, how would you build that? Like I probably thought through half the time, oh, how would we logistically do that here in Waco? Like,
So that leads
that'd
me
be
into
cool.
some of
Yeah.
like the questions that I had. So,
Sure.
as like the owner,
Mm-hmm.
are you the game master or do you buy like set games
sure.
and
That-
like set rooms?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think they can be answered because we've been doing this for so like we're in the escape room world. Like we're the old people. Like we got into this 2015,
Yeah.
and so really they didn't even start until 2013 in the United States, and so we were very early in doing this. So at the time there was nobody to even like purchase a room from. You know,
okay.
I think we were the 8th room to open in the state of Texas.
Oh, wow.
And so there was like 2 in Houston, 2 in Dallas, 2 in Austin. Like, and so Jared is my partner. He's just the way his brain works. And we're both big we're gamers. We love board games, video games, like, and we're really competitive. And so escape rooms kind of just was a natural, like, oh, we like games and we're competitive. Let's try to, like, these
Yeah,
rooms
that's
just
really
made,
cool.
yeah, it made sense. So yeah,
Yeah.
we build all our own rooms. So we
Oh,
don't,
cool.
you know, now, you know, we've sold our rooms to people. Like, you can buy
Cool.
concepts all the time. Like, that's very much a thing. But we
Yeah.
don't. We like
I was
to
like
build them.
wondering if there was like a
Just like any like
shopping
a
cart
template
for
of something.
yeah,
Oh,
where
the-
you could buy like a package and like they
Oh,
send
yeah.
you like some of the like furniture and stuff.
Oh yeah,
too.
there's
yeah.
tiers. Like, you can buy, and this, I mean, just from our perspective, we do this. So you can buy just the flow, like This is the clue list. These are the 15 puzzles.
Okay.
Here are the answers. There you go. You know that, and that's a price. Or you can say, hey, we'll sell you that plus we'll build you the prop, like the puzzle boxes.
Okay.
Then
really
there's
cool.
third level where we're like, hey, we'll give you like a list of the furniture we bought to decorate the room. And then the fourth package is like, we will drive there. We will set it all up for you. We'll do the training for your staff. You know,
wow.
we'll be there for the first weekend and then we'll go back home. So like you can, depending on how much money someone wants to spend,
Yeah.
that wants to be super hands off. Like they're just like, oh, I'm just the money guy and my son's going to run it and I just want to buy it. Like that happens, you know, they don't want to put a
That's
lot
so
of creativity
That
into it.
is.
The background scenes of like
Yeah.
how that all comes together.
Yes. So that's why
cool.
I think it was interesting in the movie where there was the game master
And a puzzle
and the
master.
puzzle master, and they were not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an
Person.
interesting thought for me. I was like, I guess two people could
Mhm.
build this. I just always thought it was
Yeah.
like one person running the show. And then, of course, like the people who give you the hints and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That was
Yep.
a like, oh,
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like how it
It's a good
actually
little
is.
twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
So that's awesome, though.
Yeah.
It's really nice to hear about like the background and how that
Yeah,
works.
so I mean, it's
and
cool. Like Waco is unique. Like we have rooms that are all built.
I
like, with
have.
our-
Have you
with our
ever done
team.
the escape rooms here?
So I'm sorry to say that I haven't. No,
Ugh,
but
Joshua.
It's okay. You've
That's
never
okay.
watched an episode.
I've never watched an
Or
episode.
listened.
We're even.
we're even.
We're even.
No, but I've never done an escape room. Period.
Never at any place.
I've never done one.
Wow.
I'm gonna be
I've
honest.
always wanted
I
to, and
hate them.
I've never
Yeah?
had the opportunity to.
You just
The idea of being stuck. So okay, I did one here.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
We did. I think the hardest room you have.
When was? Do you remember the room?
This was
Remember
like 20. It was with Starbucks
oh
when we all came.
Oh
remember?
yeah.
And we like did.
Oh, I remember.
So-
I remember.
My group was in one of. I think it also has to do with the fact of who I was playing with.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But like we were. I just remember there was 2 rooms. There was a bunch of like. It almost seemed like nautical, like coordinates we had to figure out.
Okay. I'm trying
But
to
like
think.
we got through the first room, we did not get out of the second room.
How did you get into the second room?
We
Do you
had to
remember?
crawl- it was like through
under
like
a radio underneath a radio or a chalkboard.
Yeah, I think it almost felt
Yeah.
like a fireplace or something.
Yeah. Okay. You were in Codebreaker.
Yes,
That's the one you
That's
played.
what it was called.
Yep. That was the hardest
It's
room.
yeah, it's hard.
Yeah. We used to tell, and I'll say this now because we don't have this room anymore.
Oh,
You know, people are like, oh my God, that was so hard. Like, what's the escape rate? And we're like, oh, about 19%. You know, that's just what
Yeah.
we said all the time. It was like 0.002%. Like,
oh, okay.
We
So
used to
that
tell-
makes me feel a lot better.
yeah,
Actually,
we used to tell groups like they got like they would lose on the puzzle to get them into the second room,
Mm-hmm.
and we would be like, "Oh, you almost made it out!" Like we didn't have the heart to tell them you were like halfway, like
Wow.
maybe.
Yeah.
it was a really hard room.
yeah, because we made it into the second room,
Mm-hmm.
and we were in the second room for about 10 minutes before
Yeah.
time ran out.
Yep.
But the reason I don't like them is a lot of the time when people get in there, it's like 2 mini cooks in the kitchen kind
Yeah,
of thing.
for
So
sure.
it's
Too
just
many
like
ideas.
people are just yelling
Yeah.
and they're just like everyone like goes free for all and they're just looking and
Mm-hmm.
then you find like the last clue and then you've got all of the clues but no one has figured anything out.
Yeah.
And
There's
so
no connecting the dots in the right
yeah.
order.
And so then it's just it's stressful for me because everyone's just yelling and
Yeah.
then
Someone will die in that
And-
escape
yes.
room
Someone
because
is
of
dead.
Caitlin.
I am going to kill someone.
Caitlin is murdering people.
Yes.
It's gonna turn into a whodunit.
And then really though, like
Caitlin.
it was just
Caitlin
so
did it.
stressful. I was like, oh my God, like someone just please, we need to delegate. Like
Yeah.
hush. And then I think that was part of the reason why I did do one again recently for a bachelorette party. But it was they all live in like the Austin area. So we
Sure.
went down there.
Okay.
And that room was very cute. It's like a Murder on the Orient Express kind of
Okay.
vibe.
Sure.
It wasn't that exactly, but
Yeah.
same thing. We got into the second room, and I do think we actually were on the last puzzle.
Okay.
And I think we would have like almost had it.
Made it out.
But
You were there.
That's not bad.
but it was hard. I mean,
Yeah.
they're hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and watching this movie too, because I've never done one. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
them on like
My brain
whatever
doesn't
YouTube.
think like that.
That does like it
Yeah.
seems very difficult to like you have to be able to know all types of different information,
Sure.
not just like what different
Yeah.
kind of skill sets and like be able to like decipher something really fast.
Yeah. I thought what was interesting from an escape room perspective and how the movie played out, as far as like when the plot started in the room, like not the pre part, but like when they're in the room, right? Where they're in the
first room?
waiting room.
Yeah.
There wasn't people complain about this all the time because we had one room that was similar to, not that we were trying to cook you alive, but was similar to like we didn't tell you anything. Like you walked in, we did like a jump scare, and then the clock just started running. Yeah. And people, sometimes for a minute, they would just be standing there and then like, oh crap, like the time.
It's time to go.
and they didn't like that. They were like, you didn't tell us like it started. And so we typically give everyone a prompt like, hey, you know, your starting hint is blank, you know, and then they get them going.
Yeah.
This movie was like, right, they were just chilling in that lobby.
They didn't even know that
they had no idea. Yeah. And then, you know, oh, there's the doorknob broke.
Tried to leave.
Tried to leave. And then what is this? And then, oh, let's Fahrenheit. Let's turn up the knob. And so, which was fine. I think some rooms are cool where it starts like that.
Yeah.
But I think it's best when the group is like has played rooms before, because then everyone's like on the lookout.
Yeah, it needs to be like an experienced group.
Like how they had
that.
Danny in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of
You
voice.
need a Danny, right?
For sure.
Without a Danny, it is like you're just walking around like, what the heck?
It's
What
the blind
Yeah,
leading the
because you don't
blind.
know
The
what
blind
to
leading.
look for. I mean, because literally almost anything could be a clue. And that's why, like, you have to spread out and look for things like that. But it's just, that's how then everyone starts yelling all the clues at once.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's just kind of how you have to go about things.
Yeah.
In that first room, while you were watching this movie, were you trying to think, oh, I would have figured that out? Like,
throughout
were
the
you
whole
thinking,
movie, I was thinking,
okay,
like,
the whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Would you have figured out, like, okay, well, let me back up. So, you know, she, Zoe,
Yes.
right, finds, you know, Fahrenheit, she looks at the book, and it's like, okay, 475.
451.
451, sorry.
Yeah,
and so that she spins it. That, do you think that needed to be the first clue? Like, did that trigger the room going, or could she have avoided?
I think.
What do you think?
Well, yes, I don't think it needed to be, because remember when Ben pulls off the fire extinguisher from the wall, that sets up another like round of heaters.
Yep.
And then when the
columns.
phone, when they hang up and stuff, that sets another round.
Mm-hmm.
Now that might have been triggered by then, but like I feel like that fire extinguisher one could have been set at any point.
Yeah. Because there was the key off the fire extinguisher that opened the
window.
The
to
window.
The
Yep.
attendant or whatever.
Yeah.
And I do think they probably made it very intentional that they find the 451 first, though. I don't think it needed to be the first one to like set it off.
Yeah.
But I do think that they played their hand.
And obviously they're thinking too, like if nobody's prompting them to do anything at a certain point, someone's gonna be like, well, I'm gonna go try to find somebody. I'm gonna leave, and that's what that happens.
Yeah.
But I also feel like too, like none of that could have happened, even though how would they have found it out really, unless they're just kind of like really moving around. I myself, I'm a really tactile person. So like if I'm there around the table and I saw those like magazines, I would have moved stuff around and then like notice those are like
the coasters
they're
go down.
pressable. And then
and especially when I'm in an escape room, I touch everything.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like,
literally, right?
Yeah.
Like, let me touch the ceiling.
Secret door.
Yes, yeah.
Secret panel.
Totally. So like as a room builder, while as I'm watching in just the first room, I'm like, that was not risky, but like you just alluded to it. Like technically somebody could have just been sitting at that table, pushed a coaster down, the painting would have gone up, and it would have been like, oh,
If
hey,
we just put these down.
and there would have been no heat, there would have been no like pressure to do it.
Yeah.
And there was even the thing that said like, what's the Dr.
Wutan.
Wutan, yeah.
Wutan,
Wutan. We'll get there later probably. But like it said, like coasters. So you could have avoided all the heat. So I just felt like that's risk as a room builder. Like you want people to like experience the room. And I think making it the oven is part of it. But you could have totally
Could have
Just gone around
bypassed
it.
all
you
that.
could have bypassed all of it.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Had they not.
Which was interesting.
Because, like, again, everyone typically spreads out. I think at that point, it did help that they didn't tell them anything.
Yeah.
Because then a lot of them were very docile, I think, and not super paying attention to things. Like, no one even touched the magazines until Amber is her name, right? Amanda.
Amanda.
Like, once they started looking for clues, she was like, oh, these are all fire related. And then that was when I started.
The same person.
They made it very clear that there were so many allusions to the fact that each of them had trauma.
Yeah, they all picked up something at a certain point that was like, and I think also
because
too,
even in the first room we got our main three. We got Amanda with the fire. We got we saw what's her face Zoe think through the plane.
Yeah.
And then Jason picks up that mug with the sailboat on it. And so
it's a snow globe. The snow globe.
Oh, the snow globe with the sailboat. Okay, and then Zoe had picked up the mug with the airplane on it. Then and each of them had a little like realization, and at that point I was like, okay, they've clearly all got some sort of trauma that they're gonna play on.
At that
they didn't touch everyone's until that second to final room, basically. But
and it's at that point too that I think they were betting on and banking on them going through all those other steps as opposed to just like the coasters, because they have studied these people obviously and know like
that is the other thing, is they knew all of
all that.
all of their everything.
I thought that was, and again, I'm jumping around, but like with Danny, we never got in. I mean, it said it when they got to the end, like what happened. It was his parents'
whole family died of carbon monoxide poisoning.
So like, but we never like got to go through that with him.
Was never fully
they kind of just like threw it then at the end. It was like, oh, this is why he was here. And I was like, what?
That was a little odd. Yeah, because his, but his death was suffocating, essentially drowning. I mean, it's a lack of how he did die is still kind of.
And I think
similar.
for the sake of the purpose of the plot too, that also drives the movie. It's like you can't have the one dude who knows everything about escape rooms survive the whole way through.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
you're
too
right.
He had to be one of the first ones to go.
He did have to go.
Or he was the first one, right?
Yeah.
He was the first death.
He was the first death.
Yeah.
So he had to be the first one.
I think I wrote a few times like, high key, I hope he dies first.
and touching before that scene and how it was touching on everybody's trauma. Before they get into that ice area and he dies, they're in that cabin, and it's where we get the first
it's where we get Ben's with the
Rudolph memory of his being with his friends in the car, and there's that trauma of, I guess it was his fault they all died.
Sure.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
So
I like the way it started with us falling through the ceiling at the beginning too. Because I just automatically assumed Ben was gonna die.
Yep.
Because it almost shows us
that
him dying,
where we think
and
that
so
it's the way that you don't really. I mean, it says 3 days earlier, but you don't know that that's going to come up later in the movie again. It was a cool callback.
Yeah, I was so dumb. I didn't. Once he got to the part where he hurt his leg, and or he was fighting with Jason, then I was like, oh shoot, he was in the beginning. I didn't even like.
That's the same person.
I was like, oh, that's the same guy. I didn't even know.
Yeah, no, honestly, I watched it a long time ago when it first came out, and I don't think I caught that, but I caught it watching it. I was like, oh, duh, that was him.
I thought that was a good twist.
I wasn't expecting him to live, so I really thought that was cool whenever he did come through. I did see. That's why I hate these things.
I did like
people getting smooshed
from like escape room perspective. I think it's super important. I think this is what we do well at Waco Escape Rooms and all the other ones we have too, is like we give like a trigger to, not like a trigger in a bad way, but like we trigger for what the puzzle is. So for instance, they needed to have Dr. Wu-Tan. I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah.
Wu-Tan Yu.
Yeah, because it's what's that called?
Anagram,
for No Way Out,
where it said coasters, and there's a lot of rooms that are built nowadays where they wouldn't have put anything in the room to signify coasters. They would have just assumed, well, you just touch everything. And Caitlin, you said you touch everything, but
but I would still need that coaster.
It's nice so when the group escapes, every group wants to talk about the room for 30 minutes, oh my god, and that puzzle. And it's nice to be able to say, yeah, we wanted you to touch the coasters because there was something on the wall. Even if they didn't see it, it helps them know, okay, you weren't cheating me out of something. And so when they get in the second room in the cabin where it is just Rudolph, right? So you have a 7-letter cipher. Those are rough because most escape rooms are four-letter locks, 4-number locks, directional. It's typically in 4s for the most part. But to have a 7-letter cipher is brutal.
I had one of those in that last one that I was in.
Oh, you're being mean to the group.
It was directional, but it was still it was 6 or 7.
Sure. And so, but having that on the wall, I said it to my wife when we were watching it, I was like, oh, it's Rudolph.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't know why, but I was like, it's Rudolph.
I already was especially when it said, you'll make history. I was
I was like, Santa Claus? I was in there. Rudolph didn't come to mind at all until I saw the thingies, and I was like, oh, okay. But when I saw the original sign, that you'll go down in history, when Mike points it out, I was like, I was like,
Well, and
Santa?
they drove it home too with the antlers,
Yeah.
like with the letter, like. So I was like, oh, that's really really well done.
And Danny had already said, all you're missing is just the hot chocolate.
Literally. And I love how, and Ben was like looking at all the the letters on the antlers popping out. And he's like, there's letters over here, but you know.
No one's like listening.
Yeah. And it's like all the reindeer.
Yep,
It's
for
the
sure.
reindeer.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah. Where
Donner,
groups,
Cupid, Donner, Blitzen.
where groups might have in a normal room been like, oh, V, C, B, and like tried to spell out something.
With that.
Yeah. And so again, that's kind of nice. Like it's getting the group communicating and talking. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really
I
smart.
thought that was cool with Rudolph.
that was cool.
Did you think? I thought like a deer or something was going to come out and stab somebody. Like I kept waiting.
Like, get
I
out.
thought that was going to happen at some point.
Or when she was putting her hand in the polar bear.
Oh,
I thought it was
something
gonna grab
happen.
her. I was like,
Literally.
I'm pretty sure I wrote like, this is I'm stressed.
Literally. Palpitations right now.
Like, her hand gonna get bit off, or someone's
Yeah.
gonna pull her into the polar bear.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
There are some rooms that do stuff like
yeah.
they'll like shock you a little, like not like big shocks, but like I have done one where you put your hand in a box and then like something like it scared you a little bit. So there's some rooms do
a little
that.
Dune action going on.
Yes, totally.
But no, yeah, it's super cool. And like all the first rooms we were talking about, the set design on all of them is super cool. And so like hearing you talking about how like you build all those.
Yeah,
and
that
set
billiard
up,
room
that's really
one I
awesome.
loved.
Oh my
I
gosh.
thought
yeah.
that one was so cool.
It was really cool.
The
Being
cabin-
upside down. Like,
Yeah.
ugh.
But I'm so impressed at how like the second room, it really like with it
It looked like
part of
they
it
were
being
outside.
outside. Yeah, like it
Yeah.
was. Well, and I guess they weren't technically outside, but they were in elements.
Yeah.
They were. Yeah,
Like-
they were in a big room that they had all that fake snow, I guess, and
Yeah.
fake freezing, all the vents.
Yeah, to
coming
be
in.
able to change the environment, like make it cold, make it hot.
That's
You
really
know,
cool.
there's
Are there rooms that do that?
well, yeah. So Baton Rouge
That
in
make me so
Louisiana,
uncomfortable.
yeah. There's a Cutthroat Cavern is a name of a room. It's called 13th Gate is the name of the company, and kind of BooBaes. So they originally they own the largest haunted house chain or largest haunted house in the country. So in Louisiana, really creepy. It's really cool. So they make a ton of money doing that. So for fun, they were like, let's just get into the escape game. Like, let's just build the best room in the world. And it's a $1 million room. That's how much they spent on this thing.
Damn.
And it's 5 rooms. Played it with my dad. And
5 like you have to get out
like
of 5 rooms.
5 or so, kind of like the movie, but they're connected. So it's a pirate theme. But like one of the rooms, it's probably 1,000 square feet, and the floor moves the whole time.
Yeah.
So you're like walking and trying to do stuff on the wall while the floor is moving. And then you get into, and this is where I'm getting to because of the snow room, is you go into this room and there's a pirate ship, an actual pirate ship, like the ceilings are 30 feet tall, and there's water and sand, and you are like feeling like you're in an area where like a ship would have shipwrecked, like on a beach. And it feels like you're on a beach. Like it smells
wanna
like
go
you're on a
now.
beach. Like it's crazy. This is an insane room. Like it doesn't, after we played it, we're just like, man, like we both call ourselves escape rooms, but we are not on the same sphere or anything. They probably haven't made any money yet. But the fact that like they just get to say we're like the best is enough for them. But when I saw that snow room, like that is so cool.
It's
Like,
so immersive.
trees and like blowing the winter, to make it
Elements,
colder.
yeah.
Because
Because
awesome.
it's all elements of your senses, for the most part. I mean, you're not really, you could lick the snow, I guess, if you
Sure.
wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool because it's so immersive, and it really like they thought they were outside for a whole minute.
Outside,
I thought they were
Joshua.
outside for a whole minute there.
They did until
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
his face ran into that little stream.
Poor Danny.
Yeah.
Damn.
Danny's
I
figuring
thought
it
he
out.
was. I thought he was gonna go through the ice there.
Yeah.
But I guess
same.
it was just a nice little
They were
foreshadowing.
building it
yeah.
up.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did y'all feel about Ben throwing that lighter? It's a little bit of a dick move, huh?
Oh yeah,
Do
but
we
I
think Danny would have
expected it.
survived
No.
if Ben wouldn't have thrown
I don't
that?
think so. I think it was rigged to make Danny die there.
Okay.
So you think they were gonna kill Danny one way or another?
Yes.
Because they blew up the ice or whatever, the game master.
Yeah,
True.
because the ice didn't like crack or
They're
anything
like,
there.
someone's
I'm pretty
gotta
sure
die in this
they
room.
killed him to make them realize like this is real.
Oh, okay. Because then they had that current going on in there, right? So the game master like specifically wanted to move him away from the hole
true.
to try to save him. Yeah, were they trying to make Ben out to be the bad guy? Like, do you think that was just like,
Well, because remember, even at that point, that's whenever they started saying like, maybe the game master's already here. You're the one that's trying to make it seem like he was orchestrating or kind of leading them down the wrong path.
Sure.
And it's funny because when I I watched it yesterday and I rewatched it before coming to here today, just a little bit, like try to. We see Amanda at the beginning. Amanda and him are talking right before they enter the building, and we see Amanda come in and go through like check or whatever.
Yeah.
But we never see him come in.
Oh, because he's like already there. Like he goes in the elevator. He like walks
Danny
around,
was in
right?
the elevator, but
Ben
was
just
outside,
and he just because he was smoking the cigarette.
Oh, we're talking about
right?
Ben. Yeah, you're right.
And so he comes in later on as the last person. So it kind of like, and I'm like, oh, they were really almost from that point alluding to maybe give you some mistrust on his character.
And who was the first one to open the doorknob?
It was Ben.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, okay. Have you guys seen the second one yet?
I've seen
not.
it. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet.
I don't know.
but
I do want to watch it.
But
This was my first time seeing
Zoe
this.
and Ben are still alive.
Yes.
At the end of the first one. So your theory could still be in place.
Oh, that's true. Honestly.
Okay. So the other, not to like jump to another movie, but I'll say it really quick. I will get back to escape room. But when we started the escape rooms, everybody that had no idea what this was compared it to a horror movie.
Saw.
Okay. And if we remember the premise of the first Saw, I don't know if you guys have reviewed Saw, if you've seen it.
Not yet.
We've not reviewed it yet.
Okay,
but
well,
I've
seen it probably multiple times. It's iconic, but like he's in the room, right?
Yes.
He's dead or he's
On the floor.
On the floor. So like the game master in Saw or whatever, how you're gonna call him, he was in there. So it could be like an ode to Saw.
That's true.
That you had the game. So
it pays homage.
Totally. So I totally thought that was going to
was
be
happening.
part of the movie. I
I could
expected
see
that. So when it didn't happen, I was like, oh, okay, that took me by surprise.
Yeah,
Plot
that's
twist.
true.
It was Danny.
It was Danny.
Danny the whole time.
Right.
I did,
Killed himself. I mean, hey, could have been like the grandpa in Squid Games and
That's
just
true.
he gets sucked away, but then it's actually not dead.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, we definitely did see his little body floating.
It could
no.
be. Well, because you see it floating, but it's like,
That could have been a dummy.
and then same with
All you saw were hands.
Amanda though, like she jumps down,
The
to
way I
jump to another
can't
room.
say anything about the sequel.
Don't say anything, Joshua. But like she falls down she
Not
goes,
watch it.
she jumps out. You don't really see where she
You
goes.
just hear a-
You just hear a thud.
You hear a thud.
Okay.
Really, Jason.
Maybe they could all make it out.
And how did? If I'm jumping around,
Nobody's dead.
how did Jason die?
Jason,
in that fight, in that
The drugs just got
psychedelic
to
room.
him.
No,
And then his
whenever
head
they
got
were fighting, Ben
smushed.
pushed him so hard that he like hit himself. So
it was
hard
on a
the head.
corner.
Yeah.
It was on a
I think he
corner,
like
and
snapped
it like
his spine, his
Yeah.
neck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
it
okay.
like got him right here. Good,
Okay,
and
so
he bled
Jason's
out.
probably dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Okay, Jason's
pretty
probably
dead.
really dead. Okay.
And Mike, well, I mean, we literally saw him flatline. So
Mike, poor
but
Mike.
couldn't you have been brought back to life?
maybe I don't know.
Right?
He was kind of dead there for a hot second.
Maybe he's
though.
dead. He
I
could
just
be
don't
dead.
think they knew what they were doing. Obviously.
Yeah, they shouldn't have been.
In that moment, and like putting the EKG on him and stuff like that.
And,
But
and Ben was right. He was like, "You killed him.
he literally killed him.
Yeah.
You literally killed him."
Man. So okay. So
didn't have to die.
the outside snowy room.
Yeah.
So if you think about a room, if it's like room to room, this would mean like you go into multiple rooms. There's not really like a rule of thumb.
And at this point, they're basically in their third room because
are
they
kind of-
escaped the cabin.
But how many technically how many puzzles between the cabin and the snowy area were there?
Oh wow. I mean, there was
Like
already
truly only
There's
two.
really only
two.
two.
Yeah.
The
Right.
coaster.
Oh, three. They had to find the magnet.
That's
I
true.
know that's not
right.
a puzzle, but like it's a step.
But
the
yeah,
mag-
they did
yeah.
need to find
You
it.
find the
Otherwise, they
magnet,
wouldn't have
yeah,
gotten that
you
key.
get the eye. So really, of all that going on,
Yeah.
there's only like a few things to do. But because it's so immersive, I think that like
Yeah, I mean, because then, you're thrown for a loop by being outside, I'm sure, and then
It's getting cold.
rather
Jason's already
large.
bringing up the hypothermia situation where he's like, you start acting crazy and stuff
Yeah.
when you're so cold.
for sure.
I fully believe he killed his friend.
Oh, he did.
Because I was like, Jason would have like
Yeah.
thrown any of these motherfuckers under the bus.
Oh, he
the
was
first
like-
chance.
Cutthroat.
People dying. He's like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's just move on.
It ain't me.
Yeah, he didn't care.
Let's go.
Yeah, he didn't care. But yeah,
It's the way that even after leaving the oven room, he's like, I'm the he's like, I'm going. I'll be first. Let me go.
He was ready. He was
No,
like,
He didn't
fuck all
even
y'all.
like literally no like 5 seconds later he was already
Yeah.
darting in there.
But
I couldn't decide if I disliked him, but he made that comment towards Danny where he's like, I have sex with adult women.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
To
yeah.
fill the time. I was like, that was funny. So
There
I
you
liked
go.
him for that one comment.
For that one thing,
and then everything else, I was like,
Some
you
other
kinda
points
suck.
he was pretty little,
Yeah.
a little douchey.
a little douchey there.
A lot
Yeah.
of douchey.
Well, in every room, like typically groups that play, like you always have that person.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this, like
The really
alpha
cocky,
dog. Yeah,
arrogant
like
person.
I'm taking control. I'm going over here and doing this.
Yeah,
You know.
I mean, they kind of had that like too with everybody's personality. Like you had Danny, like the smarty, nerdy person who knew like all the
about escape
gameplay,
rooms.
and you have Zoe, who's like the actual like brain scientist.
Yeah, she's a
person,
brainiac.
literally.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
then you had Amanda, like the really like athletic.
I do like how they brought back
military
in possible
background.
military or mental illness for Zoe too,
Yeah,
because the
that's
stuff
true.
was shaking for her at the beginning,
Mhm.
and I was like,
That's true.
oh. And then when they made her seem like crazy at the end,
Yeah.
I was like,
because she kept having like all those triggers and flashbacks and stuff of the
Yeah.
trauma.
Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was interesting. Sorry, but then yes,
No,
Amanda
you're
with the
good.
military.
No, but yeah, I thought it was like also too like they were all kind of, even though we learned that they were all picked because they were survivors of
Soul
soul
survivors.
survivors of
Yeah.
their tragedies.
Yep.
Also too, I felt like there was some manipulation in pairing them all together, like
Sure.
those certain people together. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty wild.
I think I thought. Well, we'll move in, I guess. And I was with you, Caitlin. My favorite room was the bar,
That was
like
cool.
the pools. Oh
Being
my
upside
God.
down, I was
That's
like,
cool.
whoa. was
We have
down
talked about doing a room like that so many times. We're like, we bolt everything to the ceiling and turn it upside down, and you have to kind of walk around stuff, and like then you go into the next room, and then it's all flipped. It's exactly the same material or furniture, but it's the right side up, and like yeah, we've wanted
Mirror rooms.
mirror room.
Have you seen As Above, So Below?
My fave.
As above. So wait, describe it to me.
It's about the Paris catacombs,
catacombs.
and these guys go underneath and
Oh.
like try to film stuff.
They're trying to find Nicholas Flamel's the
I
stone.
think I've seen Aren't they getting like grabbed by like people living under the ground or
yeah,
something?
there's some rock
Ish.
people list.
There's some people down there. I think maybe.
Maybe.
My first thing.
It's a shaky camera kind of movie.
Oh, okay.
It's
It made me. It's not coming to me right. I couldn't tell you the movie. I couldn't
No.
explain it to
It's
you.
just this,
We
it's
have
a
an episode
concept
on
of
it.
like Dante's Inferno-ish
should
going
listen.
on in it, and so it's like everything's mirror flipped. So like they go through rooms and then they come out the other side and it's the same rooms, but everything's like reversed. So it's kind of
dude,
so
I
they're
think
like
I've seen
as
parts of
above,
that.
so below.
Yeah.
They're like it looks like a door is on the ceiling, and then they realize like the door's beneath them.
Shoot.
Kind of
cool.
thing.
That's so cool. It's like Stranger Things, like the upside down. You know, it's like the creepy version, but it's all it's the same stuff.
Yeah.
Mirror rooms are just. I love it. I love it so much. You don't see many of them
I
because
really want to do an escape
Well, I
room.
imagine.
yeah,
it's-
the
it's-
attention to
well,
detail.
we can literally go next door.
Literally.
Literally can. We don't have a mirror room, but maybe one day. Maybe one day we'll do that.
It's okay.
Maybe we
Yeah.
should do
as
that
long as you
for
don't have any
law.
ovens or
No
ovens.
icicles.
No
Yeah, I don't
rooms.
do well with being very cold.
I just don't like heat.
I hate the cold.
Yeah, we have like a North Pole room.
I like cold.
Is it
Or
cold?
North Pole HQ. The HVAC unit is separate in the back than it is in the front. That one is really cold.
Yeah.
So it kind
I'd
of
bring
does
a-
make it a little
A
colder.
coat.
Bring a coat. Bring a coat.
Yeah.
But I don't
come
know.
in
Also,
handy.
being in that stressful situation makes me sweat.
Wait, but like
Sure.
to your rooms, like I think I heard you say you were like crawling at some point. Is it like you're crawling in the room or crawling from room to room?
I was
or-
crawling from room
Yeah,
to
in
room
that room
for that.
specifically, and we can say this because again we don't have this room anymore. But there's like a piece of furniture. It's this old radio that covered the hole in the wall, and you don't know it. So you get to this puzzle that unlocks this chain, and then you can roll the radio. It had casters on the bottom, so you roll it away from the wall, and there is this little crawl space. So like it's not like an HVAC duct like in the
Yeah.
movie, but you just crawl
Yeah,
in.
not like army
yeah,
I
crawling.
know.
Yeah. But we did have a door.
I
so
want to be like a Jurassic Park, like
how we wanted people to do it was like someone crawls in and then can go and unlock the door, and then everybody can walk in.
the smart way.
Tell you
Work
9 times
smarter, not harder.
they would
I'm
make-
pretty sure we all
Oh my
crawled
gosh,
through it.
dude! People would make like grandma and grandpa crawl. Like you're like, I don't think they're gonna get up off the ground. Like, why are you making them do that? Like,
can imagine.
there's a door. You know,
God.
like granny's on there. Like, oh, I'm stuck.
She's getting down.
She's getting down. I know.
Literally.
no.
Totally.
Never getting back up. Life
oh,
alert.
jeez.
It's
Life
over.
alert.
It's
Help, I'm
over.
falling.
Yeah.
I cannot get up.
Did y'all think the movie would be scarier?
I kind of expected a thriller going in.
Yeah, no, not necessarily. Especially because the rating too.
Definitely not like Saw. I wasn't expecting Saw.
But I would really enjoy an escape room though. That's like bloody carnage.
Yeah.
Because they don't
Yeah.
really show you a lot of the deaths. I mean, and if so, they weren't bloody. Because like my youngest brother Patrick, he will like pass out at the sight of blood, and he's a very big like scaredy cat. And he said,
Shout
well,
out,
maybe
Patrick.
he said, maybe I'll actually listen to your podcast for this one, though. Because I was like, yeah, there's not a lot of blood in the movie. It's a really easy watch. It was super easy to get through.
Yeah.
I watched it this morning at like 5 a.m.
Okay.
So
I think it kind of
stayed awake.
I didn't even look at the rating, Josh. I didn't even think about reading that. But so it was a PG-13.
Yeah.
It wasn't R. So the first scene though kind of got me thinking, oh, this is going to be because like he's getting squished by the wall. Now like his head didn't blow up or anything.
Oh, yeah, I was kind of
I was waiting for it to
his head
happen.
to blow up.
Yeah, I was waiting for it to happen, but I was
kind of
like,
like,
oh
I
shoot.
want to see brains.
Yeah, I was expecting like Saw. Like I was.
Yeah.
Going
Caitlin
into
doesn't
it.
like seeing heads being squished or smushed or anything.
What?
Like
That's like a
pre-contact.
It's more so like, yeah, I don't like to see,
trauma
impact.
to the head.
just to the head.
Yeah,
You don't
anywhere
care
else
like
is
if
fine.
other body parts are squished or something.
No.
No.
I just
the
don't.
head.
It's the skull collapsing for me that freaks me out. Like if it was a head exploded, I probably wouldn't mind that as much. But like when, like, say if somebody gets a hammer to the face and part of their skull is sunken in,
Yeah.
that makes
Very Midsummer.
yes,
No, it sucks.
yeah.
Did you guys watch again I'm like
No,
it was
it's
on
fine.
Archive 81.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
It's good.
I know what you're talking about.
It's
yeah.
it's a little suspenseful thriller. It not scary, but there's a scene. I don't know if it's to spoil anything. It has to do with like
Don't spoil
eyeballs
everything.
Ooh.
Oh.
getting
I
like
love eyes getting
pushed
gouged out.
Oh yeah, and it's
That's
like
kind of fun.
they're showing it's blood. Like it's like oh my
Yeah,
god.
like that
my
doesn't
favorite.
bother me.
That doesn't
It's-
bother you?
Yeah, it's when the
Okay.
skull actually like concaves.
Oh okay, yeah.
that
no,
it
no
starts
concave.
like that is just.
That's a part of
ugh.
my go-to combo. Gouged eyes and a kick in
Gouged
the
eyes.
nuts.
I don't mind eyes.
And
I
I'm
mean,
running.
Hey, we're crippling them, baby.
And
Yeah.
I'm running.
I
I'm
like it.
yeeting out of there. That's it. And that gives me probably a minute and a half.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and you're golden.
And then I'm
yeah, I
zigzagging.
mean, if I was ever in a stressful situation like that, I would immediately go for the eyes.
I love it.
Go for the eyes. Go for the balls.
Yeah.
and I'd also probably.
I would
to
say I
the
think there's
throat.
another one. Isn't there like a balls something in throat? There's throat, balls. There's another one.
Something.
Shin. I
Nice.
don't know what it is.
Probably.
Achilles
that.
heel.
That's
Come in with some
Oh,
scissors.
really getting someone
House
down.
of Wax style.
Oh, I
House of
can't.
Wax.
I was just
Hostel.
thinking that.
Hostel. Yeah.
Okay,
I
wait.
can't
Okay, so
watch
that
that.
was my other question.
Ooh, good segue.
Yes, I was wondering, in 2019, did you have any sort of dip in sales, possibly like related to people being afraid of this? Because hostel, I know so many people who will not stay in a hostel because of the movie Hostel.
Okay.
And like I've stayed in many a hostels because that is the affordable way to travel.
Sure.
And when I was a broke college student, yeah, I stayed in hostels and all of them were wonderful.
Yeah.
None of them were like that. You just
Yeah.
really have to have a brain. But I'm wondering if some people were like, oh my God, I'm
Were
never going to
you-
go in an escape room because they could kill me.
I'm trying to look up what month this came out.
Oh.
Do you know? 2019. Okay. It says it. What month?
I don't know the actual
I can
month.
look for it.
Because if we knew the month, I could tell you. And I could actually go back and look real quick.
'Cause
too,
I don't
on
even-
reports. I don't know.
It was released January 4th, 2019.
January
right at the beginning.
4th. Okay.
I imagine everyone's sales go down
In January, they're down.
Yeah,
I
January.
know for a fact all of my stores,
Yeah.
their sales go down in January because
Jan-
everyone's broke.
It is. It's a sucky month. January is terrible.
It's my birthday,
I think
thank
the
you.
only business. then you bring the bright spot.
That's right.
I think the only business is probably a gym.
Yes.
Is the only thing that
Yeah,
probably
they're
peaks.
banking.
They're banking in
And
January.
anywhere that sells a salad.
yeah,
That's true.
anywhere that sells a salad.
salad.
Yeah, super salad.
And then February is Burger
yeah,
King's month.
and let's go. I'd have to look back. I think I remember when it came out because I remember people would come in and say, "Oh, is this like the movie?" I do remember that.
Okay. I was honestly a little shocked that you hadn't seen it.
Yeah, I hadn't. Sometimes I watch these movies and I'm like, oh God, like come on, like they're not. And so I was telling Jared and my partner, and I was telling him I was coming to be on the pod and talk about it. And he's seen them. He's seen this one and the sequel, and he saw them all. And I was like, it really wasn't as cheesy as I thought it was going to be.
It was not. I was actually like, okay, this was a very well-made movie.
Yeah. Well, and Danny was in, what was Danny just in? I just saw him in a show.
Has been in something recently. Actually, now that you say that.
We could look it up.
Mick Dodani. I know his name, but I don't know what he's been in recently.
He was just in something we watched, and I can't.
He's been in a few things.
Caitlin's looking it up. She'll find it. But like, he was in something. Amanda was in another thing.
He's in Atypical. He's also in Dear Evan Hansen. Okay, so
maybe it was Atypical. It was Atypical. Okay. That's what I remember seeing him in. The newest season. I mean, yeah. So Amanda was in something kind of recent that I watched.
And you have Jason.
Jason was in Insecure. HBO. So we watched that. Yeah. So like.
Oh, Amanda was in Daredevil
I feel like
and True Blood.
Oh,
Punisher.
Daredevil. That's what I'm thinking of.
She was in
My Name Is Earl.
She was in Daredevil.
That's right. I think I actually remember her from My Name Is Earl.
From that. So like they didn't skimp on were these
cast,
were these A-listers? No, but were they like no names? Not at all. No. And so I thought, that's kind of cool.
I didn't. Zoe's played by Taylor Russell, and I didn't know her from anything really, but her acting to me was like really good.
I thought she did a great job.
She was great at
really
playing that role.
I liked her. Yeah, I really liked her in that, or in this
because
movie.
she gave such a good it was believable for me because obviously she has all this trauma, so she's a little like frail, a little shy, but when push comes to shove, she was like. Like her true personality came out.
Yes.
And I feel like it could have been real easy for that to be like so like where's the character growth, where's the I need to see where that came from. But like for me, she gave it to me in the way she acted. So it was pretty cool.
I agree. I really like how she did it, or her character and just the way she acted it. I want to ask a question, but Joshua, because you've seen the second one. But maybe you don't know. But maybe you do.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but I watched it.
So I
do want to go watch this one.
They get
really tonight.
Yeah, no, I probably have to watch it tonight. So they get invited supposedly by these people in their life. But then it doesn't ever really get explained because then how do they know so much about them? And then I know they're trying to find soul survivors and remember they said we had athletes before.
It was Squid Games. I know Squid Games has been. Squid Games was in the thought process. No one would pick up this the director. No one would pick up this idea because it's a little too gruesome.
Sure. Yeah.
And I mean, not in my opinion. It was a wonderful piece of art for me.
It was amazing.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But it's just, I guess, the most recent thing for me to go off of. And so the boxes and everything felt very Squid Games. And I thought that, I don't know, they gave them those, but
I just don't know who they came from.
I can see what you mean. Also too at the end, how they were our customers are they want to watch people do this. We've been watching people fight since the beginning of time.
They're placing bets down on it.
The thing with Squid Games is that it's consistently the poor or massively in debt people. But yes, this time they're all pleasing a different person, and so there must be a massive amount of people who can sit there and research these people, but then infiltrate their lives in ways such as. Then they just put it conveniently. Anyone could put something in a FedEx box and say that it was from their teacher.
Well, and I think even too, I don't know if y'all catched it, but I thought I caught it. But in the room where it's the EKG scene and stuff, where they're all talking about their trauma and why they're there.
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't necessarily explained, but I got the assumption from them saying that they were misled, that it wasn't really her professor and it wasn't really his nephew
who sent him a text
they got hacked or something happened to where it made it look like it was them.
I don't think the people closest to them actually sent those things at all.
But then how did they know specific things that happened in those
ask these questions
in those moments?
So let these things go.
Oh, I can't let it
go. What do you mean?
Okay, so
I'm wait, I need to know.
Okay. Let me think. So wasn't there, what was said where they were oh, I only knew, Ben, right? Where he, the only person that would know they were singing that song in the car would have been him. Because everyone else died.
Dead. Yeah.
So how did they know to put that as the clue on the wall?
True.
To trigger that, unless they new stuff
for years, or it's someone in his actual life,
or if in his statement he said, like,
He
this
said
is
it.
what I remember. We were singing this. Then all of a sudden, the next thing I knew,
true.
we had crashed.
But that's also like a really far reach. Like who
That's
says that in a
Yeah.
statement?
I don't know. I mean, if you're
Do-
just trying to get all the information
Yeah.
out there, I
say
overshare everything.
Joshua,
So-
do we find out in the second one about that, about this question specifically, like who sent them the box and how they knew so much about their trauma and detail of their life?
Yes.
We do.
You learn more about it. I
We
think
do.
there's an allusion to like there might be if it gets picked up a third one.
Cool.
They leave
I'd
it to
watch
more.
They leave it to more.
It can build up more, but there's more of an answer there.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The second one is more like think of like we just covered Alien, but Alien. Have you seen Alien?
I
and
have,
Aliens?
the first Alien with like Jodie Foster.
No,
No.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver.
Whatever. Who is it? It's somebody.
One
Some
of those
white
iconic
Some
white
white-
women.
Woman.
white woman
She won an award
from the-
at some point.
When did that come out?
Sandra Bullock?
It's a long
What-
time
what
ago.
year was that?
But,
78
or maybe
or
not even
79.
that, but
79.
it's like totally the vibe of like they're because they're still alive in the second one. You know they're going back,
Sure.
right? Because it leads to it in the ending of this one, and it's very much so.
I
like
am
the,
surprised she's flying. By the way,
right?
Honestly,
right?
I don't think I would
we're
ever
so
get on
happy
a
that
plane.
Zoe overcame her fear of flying.
Oh
Yeah,
my god, they're
nice.
like
So
practicing
cryptic,
the
yeah.
It's so
At
crazy.
the end, when the dude's like behind on the hall, like
Yeah.
it gives so like
That's
like
cool.
that, and like I'm like it gives me very like
Yeah.
old school or like
Sure.
Power Ranger movies or something
Yeah.
where like the bad guy's like
I-
behind a curtain.
Yeah.
and, like,
The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard.
yeah, even
yeah.
that kind of.
The from a, again, escape room perspective, we're not this big time, like, but there is a company, the one I referenced, the escape game, they have this giant warehouse where they build the room first, like in like as a set, like you would like a play or something, and they play
Like
test
test it out.
They test it out in like a separate area. So they build it, they put all the stuff they're gonna put into it, and they play test it. And we've been through there, we've seen it. And then they like tweak it, and then they go put it
cool.
in the actual space. We're like, for us, like it's all conceptual. We write it down, we plan it out, and then we like put it into the room it's going to go in. But you know, if we had a warehouse that we could afford that,
The way that they can do
Yeah.
that.
sure.
Yeah,
so
that's
that was
awesome.
so kind of like that. They're testing the airplane,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
seeing how it's going to play out in real life. I thought that was cool.
That whole scene too, even at the end where she's just like, he's like, "Oh, something popped out here," and he's like, "How do I,
I
do
was
this?"
like,
And it's
wow,
like,
this
what?
acting really sucks.
Literally.
I wrote it down. I was like, this sucks. And then I was like, oh, thank God.
They're
It was
simulation-
just,
like,
I was like,
yeah, they're not even actors.
I was so confused for a second. I was
Yeah.
like, what is going on? The acting was really good
yeah.
up until then. And then I was like, this is cheesy. And then I was like, oh, they're testing it.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Because I was about to be really let down for 2
That was
seconds.
true. That's
No,
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, it was so good. And
Yeah.
then this,
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah, so the vibes of the second one are very more like Zoe taking control.
Sure.
Kind of like
Okay, I like that.
Like, yeah.
I like that.
I love a strong woman.
Yeah.
In the pool room, and I the part I love. Well, I liked a lot of this.
Question.
Yeah.
Real quick. Do you think that she could have like survived? Amanda,
If
she would have jumped sooner and like did a
if
like,
she-
Yes,
like,
I think she could have.
I think if the
Right?
ball hadn't fallen out of her jeans,
She would've
I think she
1000%
could have kept going on the pool table and jumped.
Is that a side commentary on how small girls' jeans pockets are?
Yes. Yeah, I can't fit. I could never fit a billiard ball.
In a
Right?
jean pocket.
And especially if I was having to look,
Can you get it?
I can get.
Can you get your
I
hand
can
in
get
there?
Most of my hand.
Yeah.
My hands are small.
You have little hands.
They're
yeah.
not big.
Yeah, I'm trying to find
Like-
like an 8. We don't have an 8 ball in here. Come on, Mike. No, I'm kidding.
Out of all the things.
Yeah.
I
Out of
have
all
a
the-
clementine.
Oh, can you get a clementine in your pocket?
It's gonna
Just
smush.
get a smush. Don't smush your clementine.
Okay.
There you
Okay,
go.
yeah, kind
But
of
like
in there.
imagine acrobating across the room, and
Yeah.
it's an 8 ball. Eight
It's
balls are
a-
slick.
They are
It's
slick.
gonna-
She
yeah.
was, I
And
mean,
she was wearing skinny jeans,
she was wearing skinny jeans.
so
I feel
those
like
have
she was
notoriously small pockets.
fit enough, and I mean, this would be, I can't do this. I fit enough to hold onto with one arm and then throw the 8
Yeah.
ball. Could
Right.
Did
wonder
you
if she
see
could have
what
done
are
that.
these muscles called here? Like in between your armpit and your back.
I know what you're
They
talking about.
connect.
I don't know
Hers
what it
were
is.
Your traps,
Big.
your trapezoid,
Yeah.
your trap. Yeah,
Trapezoid.
she was like,
Trapezoids.
yeah, she was, yeah. That's
No,
from
they were massive. I was like, damn.
when she was on
bitch.
Daredevil. That's when she got really fit, and then she was able. No, it's from another. Yeah,
That's
but
cool though. Yeah.
But so okay, what I loved about it from a puzzling standpoint is they did this to try to probably kill her, but they put the box where she had to type the code on the opposite side of the room from where the door was.
Yeah.
So they clearly were, I think the game master was trying to make that be a problem where
Yeah,
you
make it
had to
difficult
have
to
one
get back
person
across.
difficult.
most likely die. Like
Pro level.
if that had been anybody else, they would really be dead.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
like if it would have been Mike up there,
Oh,
He
dead.
wouldn't have made it.
Zoe, she
I don't
wouldn't have
even
made
think
it.
he could have gotten up
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
So I love that. I love when an escape
Yeah.
room like intentionally puts people like spreads you around and like somebody has to be in the left corner, someone in the right corner, someone in the back, and you have to like read things together. And then the fourth person is like typing it in, and you can't
Yeah.
do it without four people. Like the teamwork
Yeah.
required is
Yeah.
so cool. And that's kind of what they needed to do.
That's
in that
really
room.
true. And then throughout a lot of it too, I feel like they all could have even survived if from the beginning and the get go they would have worked more well as a team.
Because
as
someone
opposed
could
to
have
being
died.
more at odds.
Yeah.
in that first room,
Yeah.
someone
Sure.
could have.
Especially, I mean, in the second room when Danny died, he
Yeah.
didn't really. That was a careless death.
Yeah,
Like,
it
maybe
was.
I'm sure he would have died at some other point
Sure.
for something else, but like that was just very like they were like easy,
Yeah.
dunk 'em.
Dunk 'em.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Was the hole there in the ice already?
It wasn't at first.
How did the hole? Did they blow that
I think
up?
they,
Or
yeah,
somehow
they had
they-
some sort of.
Infrared heating laser something.
Something.
I don't know.
How did that? Oh yeah, shoot! I don't remember how that hole appeared.
I mean, with
Because they were all there.
he
at
was literally
first.
just standing there, and then he was like,
Yeah.
well, no, not the
But-
one that he fell in.
The one where the whole
oh, where
like
they
Ben's
fished.
foot went into it.
where they put the fishing line through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ben's foot went into it.
Was that the same hole where his
Yeah.
foot went in? That was the same one they fished out of.
Uh-huh.
But I thought the hole was
Oh.
already there. It wasn't ice though, right? Like he didn't break through it. Like it was just a hole there.
Oh, I don't.
Was it
remember.
already there?
And so
Okay.
I just remember them making the comment of being like, "Was that hole there?" Like that because they said they were like, "Wait, where'd that come from?" And,
Yeah.
and it's weird
Gotcha.
because they were there at first over the ice, and then they dispersed to go do something and look at some whatever, and that's whenever they came
Find
back.
clues.
And and that's whenever they came back and noticed the hole was there.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, but that just is more on like they really thought that through. Whatever way they got that hole there, I mean,
Yeah.
if it was there or not there.
Sure.
I was, man, sorry, going back to the billiard room, the like whole musical chairs vibe of it too. was
Oh
really
yeah, with the
cool.
downtown song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
cool.
That's pretty cool.
And how
Yeah.
it
Like the
stopped and
vibe.
it was like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
damn, because someone could have died there
Yeah.
if they didn't have fast enough reflexes.
Y'all, the rooms in the second one are like
Next
they
level?
up their ante.
They do.
Really?
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
Because these ones were
Shoot.
already hella intense.
yeah.
That room was the coolest. And then when they get through to the triage room, man, and they each see their own bed. So this is where they're really nailing it on the head that someone, because the billiard room didn't really hit
have been
anyone.
anybody.
Yeah.
I thought
mean,
that was gonna be Mike's room because he's like a truck driver.
I did too.
a
I was
trucker.
fully
thought that was gonna
expecting
be
it to
his-
be Mike's room.
Yeah. Yeah.
because I was like, maybe I was expecting him to be like, oh, I've been in this bar or something
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
But like it
Right?
been somewhere
Mike,
he had been.
Did Mike ever even really get a kind of room? Or,
So
flushed
the lack
out?
of oxygen in the when they're being poisoned,
And
it
the
has to
the
do.
monoxide room. I thought that tied more into Danny because his parents.
Yeah,
were
but then also his
Twofer.
younger brother. Yeah. Cal,
Twofer.
his younger
That's right.
brother,
Twofer.
he had to listen to his younger brother take his
Yeah,
last breath
that's
as
right.
he
He was
slowly
right next to him.
suffocated to death in a
Oh.
mining accident. So, I mean, the loss of oxygen there is also, I think, played into him.
Mhm.
But
And
then,
then he is the first one who realized it was his bed, too.
Also, too, how did Zoe survive carbon monoxide poisoning? Even though that gas mask was there, we saw her clearly foaming at the mouth first. whenever
yeah,
she, goes
she
to the
was
floor.
foaming. I saw
I'm
that.
like,
Maybe
what?
she just.
Yeah, it was just like she just had blue. She just had stuff in her mouth.
Literally.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal.
She
Yeah,
had an antacid.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And like she only hit them. I mean, maybe kind of hard. I know she knocked him out, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know. I was so excited when she popped back up and was like, breathe, bitch.
really though.
I was like,
that was my favorite part. Yes, they were like, what is she gonna do with an oxygen mask? She's just like, breathe, bitch. Whack.
She whacked him.
it always needs a good line like
and
that.
that was, I mean, it was so interesting for me for them to have given a life-saving device. If she was to then destroy the one thing that, like, because it was hanging from the
Yeah.
ceiling, almost like her flight.
That's true.
as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
Good
I
callback.
don't know, but I just thought that was interesting that they would give any like possibility that they could survive the death that they were offering.
I could see that.
Essentially,
I also
not that
feel
it's like here.
no,
which death
yeah.
would you like?
But even too, maybe it's
Yeah.
like giving her the possibility because then they're like, I feel like the people who are controlling this probably even love a challenge of like, oh, they can survive this, and like,
and we'll have to kill him in the next one.
oh, even more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
True.
But,
Well, I know that you have to go soon.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about most of the rooms. We can delve in a little bit after the break.
Yeah.
But we do want to get your boo rating. How? Like,
yeah.
How many
Yes,
boos?
how many
do you
boos?
film
How many
from
boos?
0 to 5.
Okay, can I ask a question about the boo rating 1st?
Yes.
So, like, is it if I was scared, like, oh, boo,
No,
or
just
if it's just like if
overall
I enjoyed
enjoyment.
It
it?
could be an
enjoyed
overall
it?
your enjoyment of the film.
Um,
Kind of all factors tied in.
I think I was at. This is a good question. I'm gonna go 3.9.
Okay.
5.
Okay.
3.95.
5, 6, almost to a
I'm
4.
gonna say we're close to a 4.
Okay.
I will say I came into it again thinking it was gonna
Skeptical.
be cheesy,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and it really wasn't that cheesy. And from an escape room perspective, I think they did a really good job.
Yeah.
Like everything flowed well together, as if like I was playing that room, I would have felt like, oh, that was fair. Like
yeah. It makes sense.
hard or not, it made sense in all the rooms that they were playing.
Yeah, I put a note that was like all of these like clues and everything are so spot on
Like,
for
yeah.
escape rooms. Like
and it
that
doesn't
is
seem
stressing me
like too
out.
far
Yeah.
fetched. Doesn't seem like, well, that wasn't possible.
Yeah.
How'd they do that?
Now
Like,
the
Yeah.
okay, so
all the clues were like clues that I would expect to see. Like
The-
it was the total thought process.
it
of
totally.
escape room.
The only one that I was like, okay, I didn't get it was in the EKG, and Jason had to go like really low. So it was. What was the trigger to let them know it wasn't a high heart rate, it was a low heart rate?
I think he was like saying basically at that point, I don't know. There was something that said the extremes, the like
It
highs
said-
and lows,
so-
and then what was it?
You're right. So
I don't
then-
remember what it
but
was,
no,
so.
it was extremes, Caitlin.
Yeah.
It was like pushing the limit.
yeah.
But I don't
exactly.
remember what
Pushing your limit.
prompted them to
But
think
so
that.
did that? So it required a high and a low.
See, it's the way that I think it only required the
I think,
Only
low.
but then
required
I
the
was
low?
confused because, well, I guess it had to be a specific number because I was like, well, he flatlined. That's literally the lowest you can get.
That's true.
So but I think it said it had to be at one point. I think Jason did say that it needs to be a specific number, and he was just hoping that we would get there through the high heart rate.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm
But
with you too.
that-
that is
also
a little
kinda lost me
confusing.
That would have been one where a group,
Yeah.
if they had played our room, would have been like, we didn't get that part.
Yeah.
That was unfair.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that.
That was the only thing. But
Yeah.
y'all, hey, we're doing the sequel?
We can.
Am I coming back for the sequel
You
later?
can, yes.
Whenever you'd like to, yeah, let us know.
I mean, we could do it next.
do we do
would-
it next, or do you want to like take a break and then we'll come back?
No, it's up to you. It's whatever you want to do. If you want to do it,
We would record the 27th.
27th
27th.
Yeah, because this one will come out.
next week.
Yeah,
I don't
next
even
week.
know what the
So
date
it'd be
is.
not this Sunday, but the next Sunday.
I might just watch it tonight. So
Yeah, let us
We can
know.
do that.
okay,
Whatever you wanna
that'd
do.
be cool.
Mhm.
All right,
Yeah.
We can
this is
record it.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your boo rating? Oh wait, 3.96.
I said it. Yeah, 3.9.
956.
Yeah.
3.96.
3.956.
3.956.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Joshua.
great, great,
Yeah.
great.
Cool.
Good. Well, okay. At this point, we'll take a break. And
Okay.
We'll be right back.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
As if the McCrispy couldn't get any better, Bacon and Ranch just entered the chat. The Bacon Ranch McCrispy, available at participating McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
All right. So, yeah, we had our first guest.
We had our first guest, Corey. Shout out to Corey from Waco Escape Rooms. Thank you for joining us tonight. It was
Yeah.
really awesome. Really
It was fun to get
enjoyed
that
your perspective.
The inside perspective. Yeah, because, I mean, you never having played an escape room and
Never.
then me having played two and hate them.
That's, you're not the first person to tell me that, and I think it's also
I
too,
would
I
do
feel
it
like I
again.
might, and I think it's just more so because I feel like I would fail.
Yes.
And
I also don't like
and
failing.
people hate failing, and I don't like failing. So that's why I feel like, man, I don't like this. I'm gonna do this again because I'm gonna fail.
I didn't automatically get a trophy. What?
It's set up for you to like fail, and I think that's
Yeah.
why too. I think why Corey was touching on the subject that a lot of people like to be like almost kind of like hold your hand. Like I'm gonna give you a prompt, or gonna give you a clue here and
You
there.
don't wanna
like,
be-
you don't want to be
feel
totally
like
left
you've
in the
been
dark and the
cheated out of
blind.
something,
Yeah,
yeah.
like you were just like, well, that was so hard. How was I ever supposed to get it? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like who would ever
Who
get
would've?
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, the whole movie though, like the set design, the acting, everybody, it was so cool. I'm trying to think of like if there were some other elements from some other rooms in the movie that before, like going further, like because we touched on the oven room, we touched on the pool ballroom,
We touched on the
cabin, the ice. We were just getting to we got the EKJ room.
Yeah.
And then after that,
that's where it really fleshes out all of their trauma.
Everybody, yeah.
Like we see exactly, they figure out exactly. By this point, we understand what Amanda has been through because we see her post-traumatic response.
Yeah. And we've seen her flashbacks of her being in that like military convoy. Obviously, it got blown up. She was the lone survivor of that. So like, and also I guess like all of them have to deal with their survival guilt. Survivor. Oh my God, I can't. Survivor's guilt. There you go. Thank you.
And they're trying to see if, we find out later at the end that if it's truly up to luck, like if that's the reason these people survived.
Just luck, or was it actually because they have some sort of skill set or something that kept them alive?
Yeah, I'd be curious as to like with the athletes and stuff, like what they're doing. But I wonder. I don't know.
I'm sure they were more like
this
physical.
is definitely the best like plot line for a movie. The athlete one would probably be like, okay.
Right. Well, and also too, I mean, like they really, I think because of all these different people, they have
everyone has someone that's kind of relatable too.
And it's an assortment of rooms. Like it's not all just like targeted towards like the physical or all targeted towards the mind or targeted towards this. Like there's all sort of elements that all these different people, if they would have like teamed up together well, could have used and played on each other's strengths to like survive.
My notes are just like half of them are just me being like, I'm so stressed.
Literally. No, because it's super stressful.
Like I loved the code being backwards since the room was upside down. Sorry, that was something about the billiard room that I really loved. I was like, yes. And then there was also somewhere that I had put like somewhere in that billiard room, this was a trigger for Zoe with the airline. But I don't know. But yeah, my notes go like, this is so disorienting. It's a super cool set design. That room was so fucking cool. And I put Amanda's badass. Oh shit, ball falls. Get up, Amanda. A fucking phone cord. Dear God, I'm so stressed.
Literally. And then just like,
and I was like, damn, poor Amanda. I liked her.
I liked Amanda too. I was so really rooting for her and her heart.
Oh, and then, okay, wait. In the triage room, I was like, he does have a point. We don't need to waste her sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like, but also, like, fucking have a little heart, dude.
Yeah.
But, like, we are in the middle of a stressful situation. But, so I put, like, we all in their hospital rooms from their accidents. And, of course, Jason's was fancy as fuck.
Yeah.
His had, like, a plant.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Everyone else's looked like, I thought we were in a military triage. Like, I thought this room was specifically for Amanda. Again.
Yeah.
Like, I thought, and then I was like, maybe someone else served in the military. I don't know.
No, it's like a combination of a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
But
it was each their rooms exactly recreated, which is fucking twisted.
It's crazy.
That's dark as hell.
Like the psyche.
Yeah.
The battles that they were all having to fight through in that moment. It's probably too like
their most traumatic moment.
Experiences. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I didn't even realize that he had the plant in his room.
Yeah, it was such a fancy, his room looked like it was a whole different building. Yeah.
He gives that vibes. And it's the way that even earlier.
His whole thing was a boating accident.
Yeah,
like, motherfucker had Sperry's on. Like, of course he's out here doing rich stuff. I don't know.
True. It's the way that whenever they were in the freezing room, I don't remember what comedy said. He was doing something, and then at somewhere, and then Ben was like, oh yeah, and I was doing something right before I went from somewhere to the like some islands to this, and so like I can get that.
Clearly Jason was well off and
a little bougie.
Yes. As they're sitting in that triage room though, they're all like sitting there hashing their trauma, and I was like, do we got time to sit here and rehash it? I was like, y'all on a ticking clock, like come on.
It's kind of almost funny too how like that like was almost like a pause moment, and then it starts kicking in when the timer goes off, and they're like, okay, now you got to figure out like with a high and the low.
I was like, go,
we're back at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes.
And then after that
the EKG being in sign languages too with Ben.
Oh yeah, and he's like, oh, my sister's deaf. They must know that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. There was a lot of.
I think it was his cousin.
That's right. Yeah.
It was still like really intense. I don't know. Man, I was so upset. I was like, I figured Zoe didn't die, but at first I was like, no. Yeah. I put, oh shit, bye Mike, and then I was like, Zozo, come on girl, don't die. Don't
and
die
it really
on
makes
me.
you think she's dead.
Yeah. And well, yeah, because I put, damn, I was hoping she'd be the one to win.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like,
at that point, you start rooting for Ben for the most part.
Yeah.
If anything.
Basically, because, Jason was. So, I mean, we haven't really covered the last room here.
Mm-hmm.
So now, as we escape the triage,
we go into the spinning room of psychedelic drugs.
I put, damn, what a trippy room. And then, of course, they start tripping on psychedelics. And I was like, oh, okay, they really trip.
And
we
it's
trip
the way
in
that
balls.
the room starts spinning, and then they got the flashing lights. So these guys are already disoriented. They're tripping out. They're getting paranoid. They're seeing things. They're like...
That even happened because they found a hatch on the ground, and they both had to pull it. And on the hatch was something that seeped into their skin. It was a topical, like, psychedelic that made them trip balls. And on the inside of the hatch, it said something about
them needing to find the antidote.
You can leave now, but you have to find the antidote.
Basically saying, like, you're going to die if you don't get it. And so then it's the way the room starts spinning. They're looking for it, and then finally,
it's pretty funny.
It's pretty frantic, right?
But then, and then there's heavy metal playing in the background.
Yes. And then Ben finds it, and it's the way it says that there's only one. So obviously, then Jason from across the room, as Ben is like already just like, nice Ben is just like, what do we do? Jason just comes attacking him.
Like, I'm gonna kill you, bitch.
Literally, and starts, give that to me. And so the way that they're fighting, and then finally, like, yes, the heavy metal playing music is playing in the background.
It made it hella stressful with the visuals, with the flashing lights. Like, this would not be something an epileptic person could watch.
No, yeah, and there's trigger warnings there, triggers.
It was very much
it's
kind of
like,
it reminded me of the scene in Alien a little bit.
Very much so.
How fitting.
And yeah, it's really something that's like, it makes everything so jarring, because the room is spinning. There's flashing lights, the heavy metal music. They're fighting. You can't really tell what's going on at a certain point.
It's dark enough that you can't tell who's like really winning.
Who, where's what, And then finally Ben pushes Jason so hard that he hits like the
like nape of his neck.
Basically, what I imagine is like decapitated himself, but like inside the like.
Yeah, it must have severed the like spinal cord enough, because I think if you go in between like S1 and S2 or something, it basically severs all brain function, and then it's just a way to kill you real fast.
Yeah, we're so easy to kill. Good Lord.
We really are. It's terrifying.
And then
but then Ben goes down the hole. We're
Ben
back
goes
at the
down
beginning.
The hole. We're at the beginning. It's a good callback, and it's like, oh yeah, we were here. And he gets through it. And ends up surviving.
Yeah, but right before we find out he survives, it goes back to Zoe,
and she's on the floor.
And then that's where we get the breathe bitch. But then, it pops back. So Ben hopped in the fireplace, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's what pushed him through. He survived.
And he survived, and that's when he ends up in the kind of control room, as I would say, or like a watching room.
Yeah, I put, now he's made it to the control room.
With the dude in there,
and
evil
he says,
overlord Ozai.
My money was on Jason.
Yeah,
I was like, really, him? My money would have been on Zoe honestly,
or Amanda.
Yeah,
but
well, Amanda's was so debilitating though.
Yeah, that's true.
Because at first, like, if Zoe wasn't there to have pulled her through, she would have died. She would have died.
She would have been burned up. And then we have Ben go through that. He survives. He meets him in the control room, and it's kind of like, he's getting kind of a little bit of an explanation of like, they're here because they have all this watching them. People like to pay big top dollar to watch people fight.
I've always been fascinated to watch people fight for their lives. That's why we've had gladiator games, rubbernecking on the freeway when there's an accident.
Yeah.
People just love to watch people die.
Yeah.
I guess that's why we like horror movies.
It ties in. They're not too far off. And we have him kind of basically telling Ben that he won. But
he's saying you're lucky, and Ben goes, lucky people don't get kidnapped and tortured.
Yeah. And
and his fucking bone is popping through his leg.
Yeah, it's really bad.
That's very Saw.
And I like whenever he's trying to, like, it's the way that I thought, like, because the dude's trying to give him a cigarette and light it up, and it's the way I thought that cigarette's going to be laced or something's poisonous.
I wouldn't trust that cigarette.
Yeah. And then he ends up trying to choke him out to, like, take him out, because what does he say? What did I win? And he's like, oh, do the horses at the Kentucky Derby win anything when they win the race? Yeah.
Yeah, that is what he says. And he's like weirdly strong, huh? The way he's like lifting his whole body up with that little
wire rope around his neck.
Yeah.
Killer rope. And
I was like, okay, shit. I was like, he's just some weirdly strong killer guy.
Rope.
Yeah.
It's not rope. It's like metal.
Yeah. It was a wire. Of some sort.
Yeah. And then he's trying to kill him, but then we have Zozo to the rescue.
She does a system override and then comes in and is like,
boom, boom,
pow,
boom, boom,
pow.
boom, start shooting him. He's not dead yet because then he gets some good hits on Zoe, and then finally we have Ben putting him down.
Comes in and he goes for that double tap immediately.
Boom,
I put
boom.
good boy.
Yes, and then finally, which is so funny, it's almost a little anticlimactic, but we have them just kind of breaking out
Yeah.
after all of that. I mean, it's not like they didn't go through anything. That was pretty
Yeah, it was
traumatizing.
like there had to have been more than just him.
Like no
but-
security guards, no nothing for them to go through. Like obviously
Oh,
people
but
were
then
watching them,
again,
but
oh man, he could be like if he led her out.
yeah. Well, and also too, because there's there's obviously a sequel, so they were let
They had
out
to survive, yeah.
when they were pretty much. I'm at the assumption, especially after second, they were let out on purpose. Like the whole intention at a certain point was made. Like, you know what? Let's let these ones go because they're gonna come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got
We just
something
want
cooking up for them.
prolonged torture.
Yeah,
Come back for season 2 of
literally,
these people fighting for their
basically,
lives.
because also they get think about it more top dollar if they can like look at these guys. We got our
Champions, the Hunger Games.
So you
Like when they make
you
them
know the
come
name
back.
of the sequel, right?
Escape Room. I saw
Tournament of Champions.
Tournament of Champions. Okay.
So a little bit of a plot twist, but it's not too much.
I was like, I did see it looking it up,
Is
but
all the people who are in this room are people who have won and escaped the past certain things.
I'm surprised they actually let anyone escape.
Yeah, some people
since, like,
actually do make it.
They tried to kill Ben, and I was mad. I was like, she said, "I'm tired of being the only survivor." She said, "Well, but they better get that $10,000. Fuck." And then, oh man, when she wakes,
Honestly.
when we're in the hospital room, and then
Yeah.
the cops are taking her back, I was like, "What if the cops are in on it and they're bringing her back to the games?"
Well, that
I was
sucks.
expecting because that
Yeah.
guy seemed like sus
Mhm.
a little bit the way he was looking at her
detective?
and stuff, and so then I was like, "Oh God, are they gonna bring her back?" And then I was actually really shocked with the whole place like basically being a different building.
Yeah,
But I guess if they were empty rooms,
it's easy for
and
them
that
to
they
just
yeah,
dip.
like
Yeah.
because that whole plane looked like it like kind of fit
Oh yeah,
in a building, so I'm sure they've got some sort of weird thing.
it's like a whole. I mean, it's like how they like build fucking like stadium tours like for artists and like
And they could have even
10
started
minutes.
breaking down the rooms the moment they escaped them,
yeah,
like doing that
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
it's true.
So who knows?
Almost Squid Games, like, but yeah, it's like the way that people can build whole entire sets in like 10 minutes, and then like if you like have it
Have the
to where it break
exact-
away, breaks
coordinate,
away.
yeah.
But yeah,
That was different, or that was insane. And then I mean, man, her thinking she's crazy, and then the no way out is Wu Tan Yu, and
like a little circle moment,
what is it called again? Anagram.
anagram.
Yeah. And
And
then
then,
I was like, wait,
she's crazy.
Is she just in the game forever? I was worried she was going to be in the game forever, which
Whenever
I guess
they
she
ended up
technically
at, when they
is.
were at their whenever they were at the hospital, it's the way that I thought, oh, this ain't over. This is a part of it too. But then it wasn't. But
Yeah, because the world seemed, or like the nurse kind of seemed a little. I was like,
yeah,
I don't know. And then she's sitting there showing Ben. We see him 6 months later. Ben looks really cleaned up.
He
He's
does.
doing something. He's doing good for himself, going to therapy, stuff like that. She looks like she's doing well as well.
yeah.
But clearly she's not over this yet. And it is the way that now I'm just as suspicious of Ben now. Because
Yeah.
Ben is like, just let it go. Like my
Yeah.
therapist says you have to let it go. And like, how the fuck do you let go of like
All of that
watching
trauma,
people
yeah.
get murdered?
Something that
the
you can
next
never even
day.
tell people because people would never even believe that anyways. They obviously didn't already.
They're
so.
already thinking you're crazy.
Yeah.
And it's been 6 months. Only 6 months is not a long time to get
Yeah.
over something. I don't know. So that was weird. But showing like how they covered up all the other murders and stuff and like just different parts of the country. They
really-
were all over.
It really builds to like this shit is global. Like this shit is big. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
People are like, they're literally out here snatching bodies, placing them in, posing their deaths,
Like nothing.
all, like toying with the media
Yeah.
and like
That's
influencing
control.
it.
That's
Yeah.
control. Yeah.
It's just insane. And
Wild ride this movie was.
they found like coordinates for a building in the middle of Manhattan. It's like she's still playing the
Yeah.
game because she's like sitting there
She's
with
like, she's
all the
hooked.
puzzles.
She's
Yeah.
hooked.
She's going finding all of them. And yeah, that was just insane. And then, yeah, this is where I get to the acting on the plane sucks. I was like, what the hell? I don't know. But let's play again are the last words of the film.
Yeah.
And so what a perfect way to end
the
it
movie. Yeah.
for a sequel. My last note says, damn, that was pretty good.
I liked it. It's a pretty easy watch too.
It
Only
is.
about a little over an hour and a half, I think.
Yeah. It said 100 minutes.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
So really easy to get through. I watched it and I was like pretty hooked this whole morning.
Yeah, the whole movie is pretty like you don't there's the like initial we're getting to meet the characters 15ish 20 minutes in, but then like once the game starts getting played, you're really like on the edge of like trying to like who's gonna survive, who's gonna die, what's going on, for the
Yeah,
most
there's
part.
not a lot of
Because-
downtime.
yeah,
This is very fast
because it's the whole thick of it happening, and then even like the climax of it, that's like the last 10 minutes. It's wrapped up pretty fast.
Yeah, it is.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a nice little add-on.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. I really did expect it to be kind of cheesy. Like what movie am I thinking of? Where
Almost Kitty, like a little, yeah.
There were blah 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 movie where they have to fight for their lives. It's like where the guy brings her home, and it was like his fiance basically, and it was relatively new, and it was kind of like also like this. It was just basically the whole family is like rich, and they're just kind of hunting people that they brought home.
Oh, I think I know. It's not Your Next. That's his girlfriend. No. People that they brought home. This sounds so familiar.
Yeah, it's not Your Next.
People that they brought home, not.
I can't. I'm okay. People also search for. I'm trying to see if maybe there's something in here.
Not. Is she a bride? Is there a bride?
She is a bride.
Yeah, it's the one with Hide and Seek.
Hide and Seek.
It's the same director. I
think.
think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that one was very good, and then it got really cheesy in the last little bit. Like when people were just like literally exploding at the end of that, I was like, I will say it was very entertaining. I watched that one in theaters by myself, and there was this woman who was sitting next to me, and she was very animated. She was by herself as well.
Yeah.
She was like 3 seats down, and she was going, girl, no. And normally, like, you don't want people to talk in the theaters, but I was like, ma'am, you're cracking me the fuck up. You can keep talking. She was like live, real time react. I mean, obviously she was real time reacting. Yeah. But it was like she was sitting there just narrating it, and I was like, I am enjoying this. It made it a very enjoyable film.
I've never seen it, but I know which one you were talking about. I'm like,
okay, it was pretty good. I think so. I don't know. It's got that girl who like almost looks like Cara.
And almost looks like the chick from Birds of Prey, Carly Quinn. Like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, she's got them blonde hair, real dark eyebrows.
Man, it's gonna bug me. I'll find it. But
yeah, we'll find it. We're
ready to give a rating.
We are. How many boos would you give this?
I give this a solid 3.5.
3.5.
Yeah, it's 3.5. It's pretty good, but it's not like blowing me out of the water or anything like that. But it wasn't bad. It was a really enjoyable, solid, middle, like good film.
Yeah. I think I'm just shocked at how much I actually did like it. Like I wasn't actually fully expecting to like this film. So I will maybe go with the 3.75. No, maybe I'll just give it a 4. No, 3.75. 3.75. So does that
make sense?
Does this now put us at a...
Technically, because y'all both gave it basically almost a 4. No, you 3.75. Him was 3.9, right?
Yeah, his was like
almost a 4.
4.
It's pretty much a 4 if you round it up. I think that puts us pretty much at 3.75, right in the middle.
Great.
Your target.
Yay!
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
3.75 bulls
for 2019 Escape Room.
And also to like shout out to Corey for coming on and talking to us again, and you guys need to go check out.
He's a really busy man,
literally.
Like when we say he owns half of Waco, if you've been into a few of these buildings in Waco, you've been in a building he owns.
It's the way when I got here he was like, y'all got me for 45 minutes.
Yeah he's busy.
But yeah, shout out. Y'all go check out Waco Escape Rooms.
They are super fun. I'm sad that Codebreaker one is gone.
You will survive.
Yeah, they won't kill you. We should have asked if he killed anyone. We'll ask him next time. But yeah, that was, I mean, it does make me kind of want to go play an escape room now. Maybe we could quadruple date that. That'd be too many people. That would stress me the fuck out.
Yeah, too many kitchens in the kitchen. Too many cooks
in the kitchen.
Oh,
how many woods could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck?
Wood. Well, once again, we are in the lovely Rogue Media Network studios. shows.
That's right.
We
They take
are
great care of us.
Here. Make sure that you check us out on wherever you would like to find your podcast at.
Yeah, you can find us in all of the Rogue Media podcasts
Mm-hmm.
at a slew of different places. Most important ones, or top ones being,
Spotify,
and Apple Podcasts. And you can also find us on
roguemedianetwork.com.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And while you are listening, please don't forget to rate, review, subscribe. It's something that takes like literally 2 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
especially to just drop, like on Spotify, all you got to do is drop 5 stars.
Literally, and put just like very good.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
it.
I mean, literally, you could just put smiley faces on the iTunes
Love
review.
it. That's it. 2 words.
Love it. V good.
Yeah, literally. That's it.
I like horror and these people.
That's
Smiley.
it. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
And
That's all you got to do. All you got to do.
and make sure you just anytime you want to also hit us up on our social media platform, which is just at
So we're on Instagram, and
Mhm.
it is only one the one platform. Sorry, this threw me for a loop.
No, you're
Oh,
good.
God.
I always
Instagram.
do it to you. I'm sorry.
Yep. And that is at
BooBaes.
podcast, all one word, and that is
BOOBAES, because we're your BooBaes, not your BooBabes.
that's right.
Mhm.
And yeah, follow along there to see which movies we're gonna. Sometimes we'll post about it.
I know.
Gonna cover
Well,
next. We're busy people. All of us are.
Literally. But, for the most part, thanks for joining us on the ride. If you are listening.
Yeah, if you're listening,
really-
that's what
we
matters
enjoy,
the most.
I mean, I enjoy watching the movies. I enjoy talking about them. So.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I enjoy listening to us.
Same.
I always listen every single, like the moment an episode drops, mainly to also let them know if there's any issues,
Mhm.
things that need to be fixed. But also, I just enjoy listening back.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm vain. I don't know.
It's
I
narcissistic.
do like to hear my own voice.
It's okay.
I mean, we're funny,
You might as well.
and it's a good
If
time.
you're not going to love yourself, who is going to love you?
Exactly.
Might as well.
And I get to sit there and like feel like I'm in on a conversation. A lot of the times I'll sit there and be like, yeah, this. And then I'm
I'm
like,
always listening to and from work.
yeah.
That's when I usually play them. I like split it up.
I listen to it while I'm getting ready in the morning, all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can listen to us anywhere, anytime. Join us
Yeah. And
But
until
next time.
next time, bye, Bays.
Bye, bays.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support and a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.